Have you ever wondered what it takes to work in podcasting? Today, I'm with Andrea Klunder, who is a podcast specialist and impact producer at the Creative Imposter Studios. In her words, I founded the Creative Imposter Studios in 2015 to help independent creators tell stories, grow communities, and build businesses that make a positive difference in people's lives through podcasting. It came out of my curiosity for how people in creative fields deal with that self doubt and keep moving forward on their path, even when they're afraid they aren't good enough. Now I help leaders in business and organization take their idea and turn it into an audio or video series that helps influence people to act in the ways that create the world we want to live in. Hello, Andrea, and thank you for joining me.
Hi, Loxley.
First thing I want to know is what is the coolest skill you learned that you never thought would matter, but it oh so absolutely does?
So before podcasting even existed, I was born. And from the time that I was born, I was attracted to the arts. I was attracted to theater and music and performing. Even from like some of my earliest memories are being on a stage and singing in a choir or doing solos. And the skill that I learned through all of my theater and arts training that has stuck with me through everything that I have ever done is storytelling. And that comes through voice training, that comes through acting training. And I use storytelling in my business. I've used it all through my academic life in school, media, personal life. And the reason why I think storytelling applies to everything that I do is because we as humans connect, learn, and remember better through stories than we do just through information.
Absolutely. I 1000% agree with you on that. Now, the big question is you're talking to a complete stranger and they ask you to describe yourself. What three words do you use to describe yourself?
Well, it's in my business title. So creative is definitely one.
Hmm.
Uh, Curious is another one. I love to learn new things and ask questions, which is great for someone who does interviews.
Yep.
And what else would I say? Creative, curious, and um, third one, tough. I would say determined. Like, even when things get me down, I need to, like, figure out a solution and push
Hmm.
forward. I don't accept no for an answer.
Well, I like that. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like in the middle of the storm coming in, I find that one little ray of sunshine. I'm like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So, determined is an awesome skill to have. Now, what is something you've learned the hard way that school never taught you?
Yeah, so one thing I was really good in school, by the way. I was the student that was always getting the A's on the test. People were like, "Hey, can I copy your homework?" Like, things like that, which is not good. Don't do that. But, that's who I was. I loved school. I excelled in it, but I never learned money management or financial skills. I feel like we did math, we did geometry, we did pre-calculus, we did all these complicated numbers and math-oriented things, but beyond opening a savings account and maybe I think there was one class where we learned how to physically write checks, which is not a thing really that people are doing very much, if at all, anymore, and how to balance a checkbook. These are the
Yeah.
only money management skills that I learned in school. And, being an independent business owner and being self employed, knowing about personal finance and money management is so, so, so important to make sure that you have a foundation that can support the creative work that you're doing. And so that is something that I have definitely had to learn later in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of self taught in that direction too, because yes, when I was in high school, we learned how to fill out a check and how to balance a checkbook, and that doesn't really apply anymore.
No, I think there's a whole world of investing and,
Yeah.
budgeting and things like that. And like, man, everybody should be learning that in school for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And I was that one who was not great at math in school because I'm the artistic get
Yeah.
me up on a stage person, the writer, So, we who are the writers are not supposed to know math. Oh, yes, you need to know math. And now that I'm an adult and I have businesses, I love Excel spreadsheets. Like I just like I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's break this down. This is awesome." So it's kind of funny like when you can attach those real skills you need to know with what
Yeah.
you're having to learn in school, it makes it fun. I love
Yeah.
I love it,
And
spreadsheets now.
I like to say too, like money doesn't solve all your problems and it doesn't necessarily bring you happiness, but it opens up a lot more choices
It sure
when you
does that.
have a realistic grasp on
Yes.
how it's flowing through your world.
Yes, yes. Okay, so another question for you. What skill do you rely on when things don't go according to plan?
Mm. So, one of the things that I do in my work, besides producing podcasts for other creatives and other businesses and organizations, is I also teach an after school program for high school students in Chicago, teaching them how to podcast. And one of the skill sets that we work on is something called planning for success. And one thing that they will tell you, it's a refrain, a chorus that they will always shout out to me when something goes wrong, which it always does, right? If
Mhm.
something can go wrong, it will. And that refrain, that thing that they always shout out to me is always have a plan B. Because, like you're working with media, you're working with
Yeah.
technology. So you have equipment, you have software, and you have people, right? You have the hosts, you have the students who are part of producing the show, you have guests sometimes who are coming in to do your interviews. And with all those variables, something can always go wrong. Either a piece of software isn't working for some reason, or you forgot to charge the camera the night before and it's low power, or the student who was supposed to record today didn't show up, they're absent, or the guest doesn't show up at the last minute. And you still have to do something. And so, if you have a plan B already in mind ahead of time, then you don't panic in the moment that it goes wrong. You can say, okay, what's our plan B? Can we do that? Let's move forward with that. And then it might not be what you were expecting to do, but you can still move forward and you can still create something when you have that plan B.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which this rolls perfectly into my next question for you. And it's really funny because in book number 3, the girls are trying to film, and everything you just described happens in
Of
this
course, it
book. That's
does.
part of that
Of
story.
course.
And, how do they handle it? This is turning out to be a big fail. And, the teacher didn't show up to help. The room was not available. The equipment didn't work. He's, spinning around like a little top, and Addie's standing there going, so, what do you do? How does, Addie, she learns by trying and failing and then trying again and getting back up and keeping going after it. What's that failure that's quietly trained you for success?
Yeah, so podcasting was not my first business. The first business that I ever officially opened was a yoga studio. So, totally different business model,
Yeah.
totally different industry. But it was something that I was really interested in. I had learned how to teach yoga and I really enjoyed doing that. And I opened that business, started off really strong. We went for 5 years. And because there were some fundamental skills and business practices that I hadn't learned yet. One of them being the financial money management,
Mm,
another one being energy management, because I was really trying to put all of my energy into this new business. And I wasn't really taking care of myself. I wasn't really doing the things that would keep me running, let alone keep the business running. And I was exhausted. So after 5 years, I actually had to close that business because I wasn't making enough money to both sustain the business and also pay for myself to live as the business owner. So I actually had to close that business, and big scary financial word, bankruptcy. I had to file
yeah.
bankruptcy, which is where you
Yeah.
tell the government that you don't have any money and you can't pay off the debts that you may have accumulated. It's not a great place to be. it also wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't as terrible as everyone makes it sound. And it was a way for me to sort of start over with a clean slate and take
Mhm.
some time to think about, okay, that run at being a business owner didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. It didn't end
Yeah.
the way I wanted it to, but there were some things that were good. There were some things that I liked. And so, how can I take those things that I liked and those things that were good, add them to what I learned that
Mhm.
didn't work, and try again in a different way? And so now that business lasted 5 years. Now we're going on, I think, 11 or 12 years of the creative imposter. So, double the length so far and still going.
Yeah.
So, I would say I definitely learned a lot of lessons from that experience.
I hear so many CEOs and owners go, "If you haven't had a failure yet, then you need to go have that and then come back to me." Like, I need somebody who has experienced failure so that they understand how to make that pivot, how to learn from it, how to grow from it, what the experiences were so that it's not, you know, it's needed. Like, you need to have that. I mean, none of us want to go through bankruptcy, but
I
it is
know. I
needed.
wish that wasn't the case.
I know. Yeah. But look at how much 11 years later and you're doing imposters. It's awesome. So
Thank you.
kudos to you.
Thank you.
Now, what is one small thing a kid could practice this week that would help them later?
Yeah. So I want to go back to one of those words that I used in the beginning to describe myself, which is curiosity. And this also relates back to the skill of storytelling. So sometimes in my work, I'm the host of the podcast. So I'm doing the interviews, I'm asking the questions. Sometimes I'm the producer and someone else is the host. So when that is happening, the host may have some questions that they prepared in advance, and I'm
Mhm.
listening while they're talking to the guest. And sometimes a question will pop up in my mind that didn't pop up in the host's mind. And so I will say to the host, "Hey, ask them this." And the thing that I would love for people to practice doing is asking what's called open-ended questions.
Yes.
And open-ended questions are basically questions that invite more than a yes or no answer. So a closed question is a question that can be answered with yes or no. My favorite open-ended questions usually start with the word why or the word how. And I know adults sometimes get really annoyed, especially like little toddlers, when they're always like, why, why, why? But actually, it's a
Yeah.
good instinct because those why questions and the how questions, again, are how we learn. They're how we discover new possibilities. So, for people to practice, what you could do is the next time that you're around someone, maybe an adult or maybe someone your own age, who is doing something that you don't know how to do, or it's new to you, or you don't quite understand, think
Mhm.
about a why question or a how question that you could ask that person. And inviting that curiosity in can open the door to learning something totally new and take you in a direction you never expected.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the best answers I have heard in regards to that question. That was awesome. So thank you.
Harness your inner toddler and ask why, why. Maybe not a
Exactly.
hundred times, maybe just one or two.
Well, thank you for being on the show with us, Andrea. Everyone, go check out what she does at her YouTube channel, The Creative Imposter. And thank you for watching Books That Build Skills. If today's story sparked an idea, makes you want to be a podcast producer, gave you courage, or helped you see what's possible, then it did its job. Remember, skills are not born, they are built. One choice, one challenge, one brave step at a time. So hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs it, and keep exploring, building, reading. Read, and dream big. I'm Loxley Brown. This is Books That Build Skills. And you're just getting started.